Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new Pokemon TCG video. What we're going to be taking a look at today is a deck that a lot of you guys have already been requesting me to take a look at, and it is going to revolve around the promo Tyrantrum EX. Definitely one of the best promo EX cards to get released in a very long time, I would have to say. I mean, usually the promo EXs are downright terrible, but I can actually see quite a bit of playability with the Tyrantrum EX. So first of all, what gives it its playability, I would have to say, is not actually its Dragon Impact attack, but more so its fantastic ability, which is the Despotic Fang. So this allows us to hit any of our opponent's Pokemon regardless of any effects on them. So we can go right ahead and attack the H/EX if we have any special energy cards attached on the Tyrantrum EX. We can go right ahead and attack the Beautifly. We can go right ahead and attack the Pyroar. So that is some really nice flexibility to have in terms of this Pokemon. Also, Tyrantrum EX is standing at 180 HP, which is pretty good because, I mean, a lot of highly playable EX Pokemon tend to have 170 HP. So that 10 HP really can make all the difference, even though it doesn't seem all that significant. And the very last, of course, is the fact that we have the Dragon Impact attack, which does hit for 190 damage, which is pretty awesome because the Dragon Impact will allow us to knock out the bulk of EX Pokemon in a single attack, and with a Muscle Band we can actually go on to knock out certain Mega EX Pokemon, so that's always something nice to take into account. So those respective Mega EX Pokemon are the Mega Gardevoir EX and the Mega Manectric EX as well. So Tyrantrum EX, definitely a very playable promo EX Pokemon. Of course, by far the biggest sort of downfall, or I guess the most detrimental aspect of the Tyrantrum EX is the fact that Dragon Impact does force us to discard a total of 3 energy cards attached to this Pokemon. Luckily for us though, we see that it requires, well, it can take advantage of Steel Energy cards, and this actually allows us to make usage of it in combination with the Bronzong's Metal Link's ability, allowing us to search for a discarded Steel Energy card from our discard pile, which we can then go right ahead and lay onto one of our bench Pokemon. So Bronzong is just a huge and very important Pokemon in this respective deck. We are running a total of 3 copies of it, as well, of course, as its previous evolution. We have an alternative attacker in our deck as well, guys. It is going to be the Lugia EX, which has both the Aero Ball and the Deep Hurricane attack. Aero Ball, it's just really nice and easy for us to set up, and of course we have Deep Hurricane, which we can actually load up pretty easily as well, because we do have those Bronzongs, and we can repeatedly look for those discarded Steel Energy cards and then go right ahead and attach on to that Lugia EX. So Lugia EX is actually pretty nice. We are running a single copy of that. We're running a total of 2 copies of the Shaman EX. It has the setup ability. Very important because our deck does require quite a bit of setup to get going, so that Shaman EX can really help make things a lot easier for us. So we'll be running a total of 2 copies of it in our deck, and the very last Pokemon in our deck, guys, is going to be the Hoopa EX. It has the Scoundrel Ring ability. Again, it's one of those Pokemon that we're using simply for the fact that it has a pretty fantastic ability. Scoundrel Ring in this case, allowing us to search our deck for up to 3 Pokemon EX of our choice. Ideally, one of those will almost always be a Tyrantrum EX. The other one could of course be a Shaman EX as well. So Hoopa EX, highly flexible Pokemon. We are running a single copy of this Pokemon in our respective deck. Now, since our deck does require quite a bit of setup, and oftentimes we don't really want to get any of our Pokemon knocked out and sent into that discard pile, we're actually going to be running a total of 4 copies of the Super Scoop Up. Now, what's nice about the Super Scoop Ups is that, well, ideally we'd like to get a Heads, of course, because if we flip a Tails, then Super Scoop Up is pretty much useless. But whenever Tyrantrum EX are on the brink of death, we can go right ahead, use that Super Scoop Up, bring that Tyrantrum EX back into our hand, and of course keep in mind that the Tyrantrum EX, whenever it does attack, it sends 3 of those energy cards into that discard pile. So by super scooping it back up into your hand, we can often go right ahead and grab onto that Double Dragon energy, which we can then go right ahead and lay onto one of our benched Tyrantrum EXs. So Super Scoop Up is really nice just to allow us to preserve those very important energy cards, namely speaking those Rainbow energies and those Double Dragon energies, which are essential for our Tyrantrum EX to be able to attack. We don't really need to worry about the metal energies too much, because again we do have that Bronzong's energy acceleration mechanism. So we'll be running a total of 4 copies of the Super Scoop Up in our deck. Can also be really useful just to allow us to bring that Shaman EX back into our hand and make use of the setup ability all over again. And of course we have the AZ, which can allow us to pretty much do the same thing as the Super Scoop Up. However, the downside to AZ is that it does count as our supporter for the turn, and it forces us to discard any energy cards attached to any Pokemon, as well as any other cards. So that includes any of our Pokemon tool cards. So Still though, AZ is a pretty nice card. We are running a single copy of that. We're running, of course, a total of 4 Ultra Balls to allow us to grab the Pokemon that we need. And on top of that, we're running a total of 2 Pokemon Fan Clubs. I know it seems overkill, but again, guys, keep in mind that we need those Bronzors into that bench nice and early. Using a whole lot of Ultra Balls and Pokemon Fan Clubs really does seem to make all the difference in the world. So we'll be running a mix of both of these respective cards. Now, you guys may actually be taking a quick look at my Pokemon deck composition and you're thinking, well, I don't see any Hydreigon EXs. How are you going to be able to retreat those Tyrantrum EXs and sort of switch in between those Pokemon? Well, number one, we have the Super Scoop Ups. Number two, we have the Fairy Gardens, which I actually think is a really nice stadium card. Again, because I feel like bench space is going to be a bit of an issue. We do need to dedicate quite a bit of it to our Bronzongs, and then we'll probably have a Shaman EX or potentially a Hoopa EX on our bench as well. So I don't really think we can work with the Hydreigon EXs too well. Again, they do eat up a whole lot of bench space, and they can easily get shut down by cards such as the Hex Maniac. So I've actually decided to go with a total of 4 copies of the Fairy Garden. Again, we're running quite a few Double Dragon Energies and Rainbow Energies as well, so Fairy Garden is actually a pretty nice card. We are running a total of 4 copies of that just to try and win the Stadium Wars, but I feel like a lot of other opponents, a lot of decks actually nowadays tend to run 4 stadium cards as well, just because they want to take advantage of them as well. Stadium cards are just a huge part of the Pokemon trading card game right now, I would have to say. So getting on to the remainder of our cards, guys, we have a total of 3 VS Seekers to allow us to reuse any of our supporter cards. We have an Ace Trainer, 4 Birches, and 4 Sycamores for some draw support. Of course, we do have 2 copies of the Lysander as well to lure out any of the opponent's bench Pokemon. We have a total of 13 energy cards. 4 of them are the Double Dragon Energies, 2 of them are the Rainbow Energies, and 7 of them are Steel Energies. And we have a total of 3 tool cards. 2 of them are the Heart Charms. I feel like Heart Charm is going to come in handy a lot more than the Muscle Band for the most part. I mean, how likely is it that we're going to be running into a whole lot of Mega Manectric EX or Mega Gardevoir EX decks? Again, not that much, so that could mean that the Muscle Band may just go to waste if we're running too many of them in our decks. So in our case, we're only running a single copy of that, and we're running a total of 2 Heart Charms just to make life a little bit more difficult for our opponents, and it could bring that Tyrantrum EX outside of the one-hit knockout range of certain EX Pokemon. So Heart Charm is actually pretty nice. We are running 2 copies of it, and that is pretty much going to be it. So sorry for the rambling, but let's actually go and take a look at this deck in action. I'm sure that's what most of you guys want to see. Again, I have to say that Fairy Garden has been a tremendously helpful stadium card. I'm really loving it. I'm also really loving the addition of the Super Scoop Ups in this deck as well. I mean, usually when the opponent thinks that they're so close to knocking out the Tyrantrum EX, and then their hopes are pretty much crushed whenever we scoop up that Pokemon back into our respective hand. Of course, it's also really useful in combination with the Shaman EX as well. So we're just going to wait to see what the opponent flips. Looks like it's going to be Tails, and we're going to be able to choose who would start first. Of course, we're going to go with ourselves. Again, our deck does require quite a bit of setup. Looks like we're going to start with the Bronzor. I think I'd actually like to bring that out as our active Pokemon, of course, because we do have that Hoopa EX, and I really want to take advantage of its Scoundrel Ring ability. So let's see what we have. Alright, so we have a Double Dragon Energy, which is definitely going to come in handy. So let's actually start off by laying the Hoopa EX. I'm going to go and look for 2 Tyrantrum EXs and a Shaman EX as well. So let's go right ahead and lay those 2 Tyrantrum EXs onto that bench. A Double Dragon Energy onto one of those Tyrantrum EXs. Let's go and use the Ultra Ball to get rid of the Super Scoop Up, I guess. We're probably going to go on to a Sycamore, so let's go right ahead and look for a Bronzor. And awesome, we do have 2 more Bronzongs in our hand, so that's in our deck, so that's kind of nice, so I can safely make usage of the Sycamore in case I really have to. But let's go right ahead and lay down the Shaman EX. Yes, let us draw some additional cards. We have the Fairy Garden. You know what, we have a pretty solid hand actually, guys. I don't really want to discard that Bronzong, so I think that's actually going to have to be our turn for now. Let's hope that we can knock out that Rayquaza EX before it evolves into that Mega Rayquaza EX. We're going to see that double colorless energy, the Rayquaza Mega Rayquaza EX making a turn 1 appearance. That is one of the troubling Mega EX Pokemon, which is just 10 HP outside of the one-hit knockout range of our respective Tyrantrum EX. Now, the nice thing, of course, about these Mega Rayquaza EX decks is the fact that they tend to make usage of the Skyfield Stadium card, which we can actually really take advantage of as well. We can safely use it to dispose of Pokemon such as the Shaman EX and the Hoopa EX, which of course could be very troubling for us. So I'm probably going to go and attach a Steel Energy card onto that Bronzor during our next turn, retreat it, and then bring out the Tyrantrum EX. Of course, then I can go right ahead and make usage of the Metal Links, which will allow us to look for those discarded Steel Energy cards and attach them onto some of our Pokemon. So definitely something to keep in mind. We're going to see that Mega Turbo and that Mega Rayquaza EX already able to attack. Looks like that Bronzor is going to suffer a turn 1 knockout. We're also going to see a Lysander Oh man, so are we gonna see that Tyrantrum EX getting knocked out? We may actually be seeing that, guys. So an additional Rayquaza EX as well, those Hoopa EXs just really helping our opponent fill up that bench space. And yes, we're gonna see that Tyrantrum EX getting a Lysandered out. Man, this could prove to be a bit of a difficult battle. I'm definitely gonna take advantage of the Fairy Garden, and I will be making usage of the Ace Trainer as well. So, I guess we're gonna go and actually bring out the Hoopa EX temporarily, guys. Let's go right ahead and lay down the Fairy Garden. Awesome, looks like we do have two Bronzongs in our hand, so that's definitely kind of nice. But again, I'd rather make usage of the Ace Trainer as opposed to the Sycamore right now. I would like to lower the number of cards in our opponent's hand, so let's go right ahead and bring out two Bronzongs. Let's go and make usage of the Ace Trainer. Hopefully that Hoopa EX will be able to withstand at least one attack from our opponent. Let's go and attach the double Dragon Energy, and actually our Hoopa EX can actually get loaded up and ready to go. So let's go and make usage of the Ultra Ball, get rid of two Steel Energy cards. I think we're going to go and look for a Shaman EX. Let's go and lay that down, and that is going to be some additional cards in our hand, and looks like our opponent is trash talking us a little bit. I'm gonna go and make usage of the Metal Links. That is gonna be one Metal Energy card onto the Tyrantrum EX. Another Metal Links. I'm not really sure whether or not our opponent does have a Lysander in his hand or not. Potentially a VS Seeker, but that is gonna have to be our turn for now, guys. And unfortunately, not a whole lot we can do. Again, that Mega Rayquaza EX can be very troubling. Our opponent is still lacking bench space, though. He would have to, at the very least, be able to bring out a Skyfield Stadium card and one more Pokemon in case he does want to live up to his sort of menacing little threat that he's making, ready to lose another Tyrantrum EX. Of course I'm not ready to lose another Tyrantrum EX. I just finally got it loaded up and ready to go. So what are you talking about? We're going to see the Battle Compressor and AZ and a Hex Maniac. I'm assuming our opponent probably does have the what's it called, a VS Seeker, guys. Otherwise, I don't think we'd be seeing all these important supporter cards going into that discard pile. Again, if our opponent does not have the Skyfield Stadium card, then that means that that Mega Rayquaza EX won't be able to perform a one-hit knockout, and he's actually going to make usage of that Sycamore, so it looks like he was not able to live up to that threat, but we may just see that Hoopa EX losing its life during this turn. Again, I wish I could knock out that Mega Rayquaza EX in a single attack. We do have that Muscle Band, but that is only 210 HP, guys, and I really would love to draw onto what's it called, another Ace Trainer, just to lower the number of cards in our opponent's hand. If he doesn't actually have an additional Pokemon, we may not see that Hoopa EX getting knocked out just yet, which is of course something that I am of course hoping for. So let's see what our opponent decides to do. I think we may be safe out of the one-hit knockout range of that Mega Rayquaza EX, again, just because our opponent is taking such a long time right now. And yeah, so he's actually not going to be able to live up to his threats, which is good for us. Hopefully we can still make a comeback. I mean, again, it is still relatively early on in the game, but our opponent already does have a 2 prize card advantage. He may have just disconnected. I'm not really sure, so we're just going to wait. And 5 more seconds. Yeah, I think our opponent may have actually disconnected from the game, but that's unfortunate. I mean, I was really hoping to see what our Tyrantrum EX was able to do against that Mega Rayquaza EX deck. So but again, I'm still kind of laughing at the fact that our opponent was sort of trash talking us, telling us if I was ready to lose another a Tyrantrum EX, and he wasn't really able to carry out that threat. So we're gonna go with a Tails, and looks like our opponent's gonna be able to start off first. We do see a Lightning type deck. That is a whole lot of Lightning Energy cards, guys, and I'm assuming it's going to be a Mega Manectric EX deck, which shouldn't be too difficult for us to deal with, because again, we could knock it out in a single attack. So is our opponent only running a single Pokemon? I think that may actually be the case. So we're definitely going to start off with the Tyrantrum EX as our active Pokemon. Again, it's pretty bulky, is also able to withstand a couple of attacks, so let's go right ahead and bring that out. Let's draw into as many cards as we possibly can. Of course, we don't want to bring out that Shaman EX right away, because then we can't take advantage of its ability, and in this case, with all the cards we're going to be drawing, I don't even think we can take advantage of its ability. Okay, so let's actually go and hold off on those Pokemon. Looks like it's actually going to be the Ampharos EX. So our opponent is planning on paralyzing us and then going on to the victory. So, alright, so what do we have? So we're going to start off with the Pokemon Fan Club, absolutely. Let's go and look for 2 Bronzors, lay those down into that bench. So that is going to be our first Bronzor. An additional Bronzor, we'll definitely be making usage of the Ultra Ball as well. So I don't think we're really going to need that Shaman EX or that Hoopa EX could prove to be quite troubling for us. And it looks like we actually have two of our Tyrantrum EXs prized in this game. So let us go and bring out this Tyrantrum EX onto that bench. I'm going to go and attach a Heart Charm onto our active Tyrantrum EX. And actually, maybe I should have used that Ultra Ball to get rid of some Steel Energy cards, but that's okay. I can get rid of them during our next turn by making usage of the Sycamore, which I'm actually pretty fine with making use of regardless. So let us go and attach a Steel Energy card onto our benched Tyrantrum EX, and that is going to have to be our turn for now. Again, that Ampharos EX can't hit us for any damage at all, but our opponent is running so many Lightning Energy cards that he'll definitely be able to make usage of... No, are you serious? Only a single Lightning Energy cards, man. That is downright shocking. I'm going to go and attach the Muscle Band onto that Tyrantrum EX. We'll definitely be bringing out that first Bronze Zong. A Steel Energy card. Yeah, let's actually go right ahead and attach one more onto that Tyrantrum EX. We're going to go and make usage of the Sycamore. Yeah, let's go and make usage of that Sycamore for a brand new hand. We have one more Bronze Zong, so that's definitely kind of nice. We have a Lugia EX, which is weak to those lightning attacks, so I don't actually think I'm going to bring that out just yet. Let's go and make use of the Metal Links. That is going to be one Steel Energy card, Metal Links for another Steel Energy card, and that is going to have to be our turn for now. I would love to get either an AZ or the Super Scoop Up, because I do want to be able to finally start attacking. Of course, I could attach the Double Dragon Energy onto this Tyrantrum EX and then retreat it, but then that would mean I wouldn't be able to attack. So, you know what, I'm going to take a bit of a gamble, guys. I'm going to go and make use... well, actually, let's go and actually attach the Double Dragon Energy onto that Tyrantrum EX. Let's go and make usage of that Sycamore. We're going to get a Heads, and we're going to get that Super Scoop Up. Are we going to get the Heads, guys? No, we're not, but there's still an opportunity for us to bring that Tyrantrum EX back into our hand. And that is by us looking for a Shaman EX. So let's go and use the Ultra Ball, get rid of the Fairy Garden. That Shaman EX, are we going to get the Super Scoop Up? I'm really hoping for a Heads, guys. No, are you serious? Alright, so we're going to have to end the turn, but we should be able to win during our next turn, guys. Unless, of course, we do see that Mega Ampharos EX finally make its appearance. No, it looks like this is going to be a very quick game, so definitely coming across some relatively weird source of battles. I mean, our first one, our opponent definitely had the advantage, but I mean, it was still early on in the game, way too early to decide what exactly was going to happen. So that is going to be our second victory, so we're going to go and definitely find ourselves an additional opponent. Again, I do want to really showcase that Tyrantrum EX in action, so let us go and find ourselves one more opponent and hope that things work out a little bit better for us this time around. So yeah, I mean, Tyrantrum EX is pretty powerful and can hit for lots and lots of damage. Unfortunately, that MikePTCGO EX was a little bit too powerful for us because, of course, it had 10 HP more than for us to really be able to perform that one-hit knockout. So let's see what our opponent flips, and let us hope that we are going to be able to start by going first in this battle. So we're going to see Tails, and yes, I will absolutely choose to go first. Looks like we're going to start off with the Tyrantrum EX. Always a fantastic start for us. And I'm going to go and attach the Double Dragon Energy onto the Tyrantrum EX. Let us go and make usage of the Pokemon Fan Club. That is, of course, going to be 2 Bronzors, which we will lay down onto that bench. Again, those Pokemon Fan Clubs, really useful cards that we'd like to grab onto nice and early. I have the Ultra Ball. No, I think I'm going to hold off on that. I don't really think we need it at the moment. I'm hoping that a Tyrantrum EX can start attacking during our next turn. And not really sure what our opponent is trying to say. And I'm gonna say yeah and good luck. I'm assuming he was trying to mention YouTube, which is censored in the game, which is understandable. I mean, I know the Pokemon TCG Online tries to be as protective of its younger players as possible, so that definitely does make a whole lot of sense to me. But I definitely do think that the censorship could use a little bit of work. I mean, some words that are censored are just ridiculous, and sometimes I can't even figure out what word I said that is getting censored. And I'm gonna go right ahead and say thank you to our opponent, and let's see whether or not his Lugia EX will be able to attack. I think it may actually be somewhat similar to the Lugia EX build I had. Not really sure. I mean, I was using those Bronzongs. Of course, the Lugia EX may just be a sort of tech Pokemon in these respective Steel-type decks. So we're going to see a lot of Steel Energy cards going into the discard pile. Both ourselves and our opponent will be able to take advantage of those Bronzongs. So we're going to see Shauna, and that is going to be it for our opponent's turn. Alright, so we may just get a turn 1, well, we may just be able to knock out that Lugia EX in a single attack. So I think I'm actually going to go and look for a Shaman EX. Fairy Garden, I guess we can safely, well, actually we can safely discard the Muscle Band, so let's actually go and get rid of that. And the Sycamore as well, I guess, for now. So let us go and look for a Shaman EX. Do we at least have one in our deck? Awesome, looks like we do. Looks like the other one is prized in this instance. I'm gonna go and bring out the Fairy Garden Shaman EX. That is gonna allow us to draw into some additional cards. We don't have the Double Dragon energy just yet. I'm gonna go and bring out a Tyrantrum EX, the Heart Charm, which we're gonna be which we're gonna be attaching onto that active Tyrantrum EX, a Super Scoop Up. Really hoping for that Double Dragon energy. We're not getting it just yet, but are we gonna draw into it? No, we're not. So unfortunately, that Tyrantrum EX can't attack just yet, guys. And we don't have any Steel Energy cards into that discard pile. Let's actually go and send one and get rid of the Lysander as well for now. Yeah, I think that's fine. We're gonna go and look for 2 Bronze Zongs. Let us go and lay both of them down into that bench. I'm gonna go and make use well, let's actually go and retreat that Tyrantrum EX first. Let's go and make usage of the Metal Links. That is gonna be 1 Steel Energy card on to this Tyrantrum EX. I guess I'm actually gonna hold off on the Rainbow Energy just temporarily right now, guys. And that is going to be our turn. I mean, the more energy cards I attach onto the Tyrantrum EX, the more damage that Lugia EX can dish out against us. And I'm not really sure. I mean, we may just see this Tyrantrum EX attacking, so we will hold off on the Rainbow Energy for now. Yeah, so it looks like we're indeed going to see that Double Colors Energy. In addition, Lugia EX, a Shaman EX as well. So yeah, so it looks like it is probably going to be a deck primarily focused around that Lugia EX, but we may actually see that Registeel with the Forbidden Iron Hammer being a troubling Pokemon for us to deal with as well. So I mean, we don't have any more Shaman EXs actually. Yeah, so I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna go and end the turn right now as well, guys. Again, attaching energy cards won't be too difficult for us at this point out because we do have those Bronze Zongs. But I don't want to prematurely attach the Rainbow Energy card onto our benched Tyrantrum EX, just in case we do see that Lysander, and of course that could allow that Lugia EX to hit us for just an enormous amount of damage, such that the Tyrantrum EX may get knocked out in a single attack. Of course, it does have the Heart Charm, which is always kind of nice. We have the Double Dragon Energy. Alright, so I guess I'm gonna go and attach the Rainbow Energy on to that Tyrantrum EX, and that is going to be our turn for now. Again, I'm hoping we don't see a Lysander, but I feel like our Tyrantrum EX should hopefully be able to withstand an attack from that Lugia EX. Unless we see another Double Dragon, another Double Colors Energy, and of course the Lysander as well. So our opponent is slowly loading up all of those benched Pokemon, and we definitely need something better at this point, guys. We're gonna see the Professor Birch's Observation getting VS Secret out. He heads on our opponent's end. What we need is some sort of draw supporter card as well at this point. I feel like would really help us out, and we're finally gonna bring out the Tyrantrum EX as our active Pokemon. Awesome. Looks like we do have a VS Seeker. I will absolutely be making usage of that to look for the Professor Sycamore. I think would be a pretty solid option. I mean, the Lugia EX, how many energy cards? Okay, so we have 4, and we have that Insulation, so technically Tyrantrum EX has 190 HP. You know what? I think it should be able to survive an attack, so I'm actually going to go and attach an additional Double Dragon Energy onto it. Let us go and then make usage of the Sacred Ash, bring the Tyrantrum EX back into our deck. VS Seeker and the Sycamore will be the card of choice during this time. So we have an additional Tyrantrum EX. Let us go and make usage of the Ultra Ball, get rid of a Steel Energy card, and I guess a Sycamore for now. And let's actually go and bring out an additional Bronzer. Yeah, very useful Pokemon. The more energy acceleration we can get, the better. Let's go and attach the Heart Charm. The Metal Links, that is going to be a Steel Energy card getting latched on to that Tyrantrum EX. Dragon Impact for 190 damage, guys. That is a massive amount. Let's go and get rid of a Steel Energy card and a Double Dragon Energy card, and that is going to be 2 prize cards for us. Alright, so we have the Super Scoop Up as well, in case that Tyrantrum EX reaches critical health levels, which I think it will. We could potentially Super Scoop Up it back into our hand. We're going to see that Aegis/EX. Normally, that would be very difficult Pokemon for us to deal with, but luckily for us, we do have that fantastic Despotic Fang ability. So we're going to see a VS Seeker. Looks like it is going to be Professor Birch's Observation one more time. Let's hope our opponent gets a Tails, and oh no, looks like he's getting really lucky with those Professor Birch's Observation. So Professor Birch's Observation can work out really nicely at some points, and looks like our Tyrantrum EX is indeed going to be able to survive. I could of course always VS Secret back into our hand, so let's go make usage of that Super Scoop Up. Gonna be a Tails. Okay, I mean, I don't really want us to lose 2 prize cards, and of course this Tyrantrum EX can't attack just yet, but neither can our benched Tyrantrum EX. So I'm just thinking, guys, about what I would really like to do. I could look for an additional Sycamore, and that could allow that. Okay, you know what? I'm actually gonna go and look for a Sycamore. I think it would actually serve more in our interest to knock out that Lugia EX as opposed to saving this Tyrantrum EX. So let us go and make usage of the VS Seeker. We may actually draw onto an additional Super Scoop Up as well. So we're gonna go and make usage of that Sycamore, and at the very least, we will be able to attack with that Tyrantrum EX. So you know what? I'm not really complaining. Let's go and make usage of the Metal Links ability. and look for a Steel Energy card to attach onto that bench Tyrantrum EX. Dragon Impact, that is 190 damage again, guys, and we're going to go and definitely give up the Steel Energy card and the Double Dragon Energy, although I do believe that the Tyrantrum EX will be losing its life this time around. So as you guys can see, once we are able to stream Tyrantrum EX after Tyrantrum EX, then life becomes really difficult for our opponent, and those Tyrantrum EXs can go on to those massive one-hit knockouts. So we're going to see some energy cards getting latched on to that Aegis/EX. Again, I'm not particularly worried. Normally I would be, because Mighty Shield could potentially completely counter our deck strategy, but again, Despotic Fang is just such a nice ability, and if our opponent wanted to shut it down, well, at the same time he would be shutting down that Aegis/EX's special ability. So let us go and bring out a Tyrantrum EX, guys. I'm gonna go and attach the Double Dragon Energy onto it. I think we should be able to win the game. We have a pretty solid hand, actually, so I'm gonna go and make usage of the Professor Birch's observation. Hopefully we can draw onto an additional Tyrantrum EX. We're gonna get a Tails. Our opponent keeps getting those heads, which again, I'm definitely not very pleased about. Let's go and make usage of the Bronzong's Metal Links. I guess I'm gonna go and attach a Steel Energy card onto that Shaman EX temporarily. Dragon Impact, that is 190 damage, giving up a Double Dragon Energy and a Steel Energy card, and that is going to be one prize card for us. So I'm not really sure actually whether or not we will be able to win the game. We're going to see that Lugia EX make its appearance. It does not have any energy cards attached to it just yet, but our opponent may just attach some additional additional energies onto that Aegis/EX and then make usage of the switch card to successfully retreat that Lugia EX. So I hope we don't see a Lysander. If we do, our opponent has pretty much won the game, because he could easily Lysander out that Shaman EX. So we're going to see that switch card. I'm not sure. I don't think our opponent has actually won the game just yet. I mean, he is laying down some additional cards onto that bench. Tyrantrum EX getting hit for 120 damage. And, alright, so... Alright, if I AZ it... And how many Steel Energy cards do we have in that discard pile, guys? So we have one Steel Energy card. Okay, if I could only get the Steel Energy card into that discard pile as well. I mean, I really do want to win at this point. So I'm just really trying to think, guys. Alright, so if okay, so let's actually go and bring out this Tyrantrum EX. I'm gonna go and attach the Double Dragon Energy onto it. And of course I don't want us to risk losing the game, so I guess I'm gonna go and make usage of the Metal Links. That is gonna go and attach a Steel Energy card onto the Tyrantrum EX. Let us go and AZ this Tyrantrum EX back into our hand, guys. And actually, yeah, sorry, we have actually won the game. Alright, so I was just really looking at all my options, and looks like we're actually going to be able to take this game. So I'm going to go and say GG to our opponent, and we're going to go on to a final knockout. I actually forgot that I had the Steel Energy card attached to that Shaman EX, so I'm actually really happy that we looked for it using the Metal Links earlier on. So let us go and bring out the Tyrantrum EX. Dragon Impact, 190 damage, and that is going to be game. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, sorry for all the... sorry for sneezing just at this point, but sorry for all the little weird battles that we did come across. But again, that is going to be it. Let's take a quick look at the stats of the game. We hit for considerably more damage, but again, that's just because our Tyrantrum EX is repeatedly hit for a massive 190 damage at 8 times. So we were able to successfully attack 4 times with the Tyrantrum EXs. Anyways, that is it. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button. Also, be sure to check out my previous video as well in the annotations up above the video. There's also a random video as well in case you guys are feeling a little bit lucky. If you guys are not aware, I am hosting a giveaway right now on my Twitter, and you have the opportunity to win your own Tyrantrum EX. So be sure to follow me on Twitter and be sure to participate in the little pun Pokemon giveaway that I'm doing. Anyways, again, guys, that is going to be it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.